I touched him and he's like sweaty, and I was like, we loved your wolf butt. Hello, welcome to Middle-Aged Millennial MILF Podcast. I am your host, Sarah Strickland, and for maybe the 7 people that are consistent listeners, yes, I am wearing the same outfit because I am recording this the same day as the Fest one was, but it was so much information I didn't want to give you guys a super long episode. But as we know, a lot of shit happens in my life, and why not share it? Because no one famous is responding. Oh, wah, wah. That's right. I went to Tyler Hilton and Kate Vogel, and I was like, all right, I paid for this VIP, and I was like, I'm going to get these fuckers on the podcast. Like, I am going to go my fucking A game. And when we've seen Tyler Hilton in the past, there were like 5 of us in the VIP. And this time it was quite a few because One Tree Hill is like picked up, and it was people in a bunch of Tree Hill stuff. So I'm like, all right, I went dressed to the nines. I had like this coral, like this copper top. Like, I look good. I was like, I'm going to say I came from work. And if they ask me where I work, bring up the podcast. So like, I had this whole thing, and everyone else is in like Keith Scott Motors and One Tree Hill tops. And that, like, fine. But like, I was just next level. And I also had everyone looking at me, probably thinking, who was I? So we're doing the meet and greet, and I'm like, I want to go almost last. I want to go last, like towards the end. So we're going to the end, and like, launched into it and was like, yeah, blah, 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 podcast. And they're like loving me. And Kate Vogel was like, oh my God, you're so funny. And I was like, yeah, I am. And you should be on my podcast. And Austin Nichols made me a cameo, but I talked about my dead parents. And they're like, your parents died? I'm like, yeah, they did die. Be on my podcast. And then I like messaged them on Instagram and didn't hear anything. So I'll also make this a clip, Sam. Tyler Hilton, Kate Vogel, like, I opened up my heart to you and I paid money. So I really think that you should message me about podcast. I'm sure you saw the messages. But so I did that, and then I was basically like, well, we're here for the concert, but I was really more just like there to get it done. So we were kind of sitting at a bar, and then people are standing. And then, like, because we paid VIP, like, we had seats right away. Oh, and the cool thing is we ran into people we were at a meet and greet with 5 years ago. Melissa and Mark. And we're like, oh, my God, how are you doing? And, like, oh, how's life? And it was crazy to see. And we're, like, sitting by them. And then, like, everything's full, and, like, people are circling the seats. And I went to the bathroom, and Drew's like, someone tried to take your seat. So, and they were, like, super loud over my shoulder. And then this one chick was inching forward. But then this fucking guy, he's like 8 feet tall, is standing in front of me, and this girl, Sam, next to me. You know, I made a friend, Sam. We're talking about it. And so I'm like, I'll go talk to him. So I'm like, oh, hi, excuse me, can you move? And he was, like, so weird and shifty that I was like, I go back to Drew, and I think I just saw the Van Buren Butcher. And he's like, is that a real thing? And I go, no, I made up that name. He's like, that's a fabulous name. I'm like, yes, but like, I think it's, so then I was telling Sam, and I'm like, Sam, I think that guy's a serial killer. He's going to be called the Van Buren Butcher. And I looked right in the eyes of him. I'm like, so when Keith Morrison comes, I can be on Dateline and talk about the Van Buren Butcher. And the kid, like, the guy moved for a little bit and then just moved right in front of me again. And I was just like, okay, I don't want to get murdered. So then this chick in this brown leather jacket was with her friend, and she like tried to inch in my seat and didn't work. And then there was Jean Jacket, and she had a seat, but she was standing next to it. And then, cause like Brown Jacket wanted to sit so bad. So her friend sat, and then Brown Jacket is just eyeing Jean Jacket, and then like trying to inch in the seat. And then she got in, and luckily somebody moved, and like she got to sit by her friend, and they were so happy. But I was just so enthralled by this whole situation of like her, and I was like taking pictures, and I was like, oh my God, find her. And then Sam was next to me, and then like we stayed, and then I was like, I heard a few songs. There were some I wanted to hear, and I looked up the playlist, which thank God for the internet and that, because I was like, what the fuck are the rest of these songs? Like, we're in some shit bar in Phoenix. I'm ready to go. So we left. We didn't stay till the end, because like you didn't play Angel, you didn't play Kicking Up My Heels. When we're on the podcast, let's come up with a new playlist, because also in the meet and greet we paid for, we were supposed to help you set up the playlist. Anyway, so I had that happen. Nothing. Then we were going on the cruise. So the cruise was with Joe and Sue Solari, who put together Author Nation, which we work at, talk at. There was also Honey Phillips, who is a monster romance author, which we'll get into later. Franklin Horton, who we're so close to. We love him. Never met his wife. Jane was amazing. And David and Melissa Vergoots, they do Scare Meow, which is this amazing thing that Drew had been looking at. You get these letters and it tells a story and artifacts. And so it's like this real live, like it's an experience and it's amazing. And he's like done so well. And he's just such a brilliant businessman. And Drew had like heard him talk and was like really excited to spend time with him. So it was really cool, kind of close group of really successful people in the industry, just like cruising. And that's the thing that like, it's different about, well, I guess not all. Some are like this, but there's the networking and stuff. And it's kind of is the entertainment business, even though it's books, where it's, you know, it's the hanging out, it's getting to know each other, making these connections, sharing information. It's new level, you know, to us. So it was just really cool to even get invited. And we hated the cruise with my parents. 2019, we went on the cruise. I was fat. Oh, here. Look at that. I have a picture from that cruise. As you can see, there's my ring light, and I was also quite large and in charge because I was on an antipsychotic for sleep that made me gain a bunch of weight and lose my mind. That we've heard these stories. Nobody cares about that. But so we didn't have fun, but it was a carnival cruise for the kids, my parents. Like, it was just, we didn't enjoy it. So we're like, let's try it. Everyone says Virgin's amazing. Let's try it. And then they all got, like, it was Rockstar. It was like $3,000 more. Like, it was more expensive and it didn't really have anything that we wanted. So we're like, well, let's just get not Rockstar, but like right below it. But everyone else got Rockstar. And then Drew's like, I feel really bad. And I was like, but like, he's like, I wish we did it now. But it, like, we were able to get into all, like, it didn't make any sense. We saved $3,000. So we didn't have the money because I'm also, here's the thing, like if you guys see us traveling, if you see us doing all these things, this is not poser. This is reality. We're using points and stuff. We're not faking it to you know what I mean? So I was like, we don't feel the need to spend that money. So why should we? We're not doing this to keep up with the Joneses. We got a nice room with a balcony. Like it was great. We got a good room and stuff. So they got on a little bit earlier, but we went down to Miami a few days early because we're like, or I guess it was like 2 days early. And so we get down to Miami and there was like a conference going on and we got in the hotel and we wanted to eat and Drew found a restaurant. We go across the street and they're like rented out for an event. So like, oh, go to our sister store restaurant. So we go around there. But while we're doing that, I passed Noseret, which was the salt-based restaurant. And I was like, oh my God, because we loved it in Istanbul. And I was like, I bet that's going to be packed. Like, I really overestimated how popular Salt Bay still is. But, so we go to the sister store, and it's fucking weird. Like, we walk in, and it's like a lobby with nobody there. Like, it's like an old house. They go up, there's like a party. 10 minutes, nobody comes. So I'm like, fuck this. So we go out, and we walk to this next door restaurant where we go up, and we're like, hi. She goes, do you have a reservation? No. And she goes, well, where do you want to sit? And so we go outside, like it was weird. And we sat and it was packed. Nobody came up to us for like 5 minutes. And I was like, oh my God. So I looked up Noseret and I was able to make a reservation. It was like 7:20. I could make one for 7:30. I go, I can make a reservation for 7:30. No one's come around. I don't think this is going to end well. Can we go there? I think there's a better chance we'll like it. Because Drew and I were even kind of like fighting. Like, you know how it is when you're traveling. And I'm like, I wish you would just pick a... Because I love that he involves me and everything, but I just would love for him to be like, we're going to this restaurant and I don't need anything from you, but just show up at this restaurant. Like that. I was just like, I'm sick of having to fucking figure things out and do this. So I was like, yeah, no. So let's go to Noseret. It was amazing, amazing. And like nobody was there. There were maybe 5 tables filled. They like made the steak at our like table side with like butter and like this. It was just amazing. We loved it so much. That we were like, I want to go back. Like it was so good. And I made this reservation for this Cuban restaurant the next night for all of us because we're all going to meet up the night before and then get on the cruise the next day. And I don't even remember where we had lunch or what we did. I don't remember what Drew and I did for lunch that day, but I had an appointment to get my hair done. So we went to this mall, which was like super crazy expensive. And then I realized that the Cuban restaurant I made the reservation for was in the mall. And I was like, I cannot bring all these fancy people to a mall restaurant. So I was like, what are we doing? So Drew's like, should we take him to Nazareth again? It was so good. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Because David and Melissa weren't getting in until later. So we were going to have dinner later, but we wanted to get like a drink first. So we met up with everybody in the lobby. And I was like, they have a bar on Nazareth. So we could go hang out at the bar and then go over and have dinner. And that ended up working really well. And we all loved it. So I just canceled the Cuban restaurant, but I did get a really great blowout from a girl at the dry bar. That is, I'm going to tell you, that is my secret. Like the first day or whatever, you go to a dry bar and you get your hair done. Then it's washed and it's styled for the whole trip. You don't have to bring shampoo. You don't need to worry about doing your hair. I also get a spray tan the day before, sleep in it overnight, rinse in the morning. And then I bring self-tanner with me to upkeep the whole week. So these are the hints, ladies, of how to really travel right and look your best. So at dinner, like, met everybody. It was our first time really meeting David and Melissa, and Franklin's wife Jane was so nice, and the food was amazing. And then the next day we had a little brunch, and we're getting on the boat, but they could go early because they were rock star and we weren't. So I just arranged, and it worked out better because then we didn't have to, like, they didn't have enough room in the car. So we're like, oh, we'll see you guys when we get there. And since Suze was rock star, thank God she dealt with everything and made all our reservations. So we go and it's like, be here at this time, and cabs too. If there is a city with cabs, take them over a lift anytime. Lifts are slow. It sucks. Cab drivers want to get you there fast and they know what they're doing. So that's my other travel tip. So I arranged for a cab. Like, I love to pre-schedule them. They show up, boom. We got there and it was like 3:30. They get you in this line because it was like such a clusterfuck when we went to the Carnival cruise. And this was like, they had lines. Like, if you're 3:30 time, you get in here. Then they let us in, you get in another line. Then you get checked in and you go through security. And Drew kept telling me there'd be drug sniffing dogs there too, and they weren't. But I was a little scared about bringing my supplements on. But I didn't need to worry about my supplements at all. They were fine. Nobody checked or sniffed them or anything. So supplements were safe, if you know what I mean. It was good. So we went like security, and then we got on, and it was cool. Like, our room was, it was like a hotel room. I mean, you walked in and it had this bathroom was kind of small, but then you had like a little armoire, a desk, makeup table, a bed. And then we had a balcony and a hammock. We were on the 14th floor. The 15th was like the galley. So that was kind of like the fast foodie places and stuff. And then the 7th floor and 6th floor like had stuff. So we met up with everybody, but it was funny. They all had drinks before and we're like, let's just get settled. And then we went and had dinner at the test kitchen. And it was like, they just had like a cook's menu, like, but I ordered the duck, and it was a duck pate. So it literally was like a cat food can. It was the shape of a cat food can. It tasted like cat food. I was like, this is not good. And Jane, luckily, Franklin's wife, was a picky eater as well. And she's like, I don't like this either. Like, we got bread, and I was like, where's the bread? I saw bread somewhere. Everybody liked like the artichoke or something. I don't remember. I don't really remember liking anything there. I think the dessert was pretty good. Test kitchen. It was also very like overload and a lot of people. And the next day, then we were just kind of on a boat day. So they were all up at Richard's rooftop. So we went up to Richard's rooftop with them. But Drew's freaking out. And he's like, we're not going to be able to get in. We're not going to be able to get in. And I'm like, stop. Buzzkill. Suze said we could get in. So Suze gets us in. And then it was like really windy. They were all over there. And then we went and hung out with Franklin and Jane, which was so cool. And soda was free. So I didn't have to pay for alcohol because he's like, oh, I don't want to get caught up here. But you'd only get caught if you try to order alcohol. I got a Coke. It was free. So we kind of hung out there and then took a nap. And the shops were fine. Like, they had some name brand stuff in it. But I remember that night was Valentine's Day, and we went to a not very good restaurant. I don't even remember what restaurant we went to. Blue Agave. Oh, that one was Blue Agave, and we couldn't get in early. But we saw a show that night, which was super fun. It was called Booked. And it was about this chick who wants to be a cabaret singer, but she's a librarian and like gets in this curse book. It was just really cool. And it was kind of like a Cirque du Soleil show. But they were really like amazing dancers. And then this one guy was called Jack the Stripper instead of Jack the Ripper. And he was like dancing. It was good. He was like kind of a short guy. But then there was this guy dressed up like the big bad wolf. And like he had like I'll have to show the picture, but it was like his wolf butt. It was like a suit, and then he had like fur cheeks, like his cheeks were just fur. And like we said, Honey Phillips writes monster romance, which I didn't realize was a thing. So people have sex like Krakens and Frankenstein and like monster dick and alien dick. And so I was like, oh my God, like, honey, this is perfect. Wolf cheeks for you. Like he could be in your book. So then I was like on the lookout for him, but it was just super fun. And then the next day was Dominican Republic. And we had signed up for a food tour because we love food tours. So we get off the boat, and it was just kind of like also a clusterfuck getting off the boat. And then you're walking and trying to meet up. And like the guy wasn't checking us in. And we were trying to go with Sue's, Joe, and Honey. And then Honey got lost. So then Sue's and I went to get her. Like it was just, that kind of stuff. So finally we get on there. And we go to the first place, and we ate like a soup and ate something else. And then we went and ate something else there. And then we went to like a bar, and that was fine. I wasn't really like, I don't remember any of the food is blowing me away. And then the guy was like dancing with Suze, and like Suze and I danced. And then it was just like taking us to shops to buy shit. Like, look at these rocks and this and that. And then we went to like like everything was placed to buy stuff. And it was like a hot chocolate thing. And I was done. And you could tell Joe's the same way, because then the guy came out and he's trying to dance with me again. And I was like, dude, I'm done. It's not fun anymore. And Joe's like, you're barking up the wrong tree. And like they took us like this umbrella street, which was cool because they had one in Istanbul though. Oh, jumping back. Sorry, guys. We did a food tour in Miami. I forgot. We did a food tour in Miami. It was okay. It was us and like a bunch of boomers. And I think there was one other young couple. And like it just was like, and we had the guy was fine. We went and had a Cuban sandwich, which was good. And then he kept trying to give us like, what was it called? A mule, I don't know, drink, an alcoholic drink. I didn't want one. We had some good, like none of it was memorable. I don't know. I do this for Drew, but there were just iguanas everywhere. And then there was one run over, and it was just like, corpse. And like this girl was looking at it. I'm like, don't look, keep walking. And then roosters were just walking around, like roosters just are walking around Miami. So then we're at a pastry shop. So I'm feeding the roosters and the pigeons, and they were loving me. And then these nasty boomers came over and everybody flew away. I'm like, you don't have good energy. And then we went into this like shop, and then he took us to see these like bird sculptures, and one of them had boobs, and then it was cars. And then he made us all say what we liked the most. And I said that I liked the rooster with the boobs. Then yeah, it was just, Miami was not great. It was kind of gimmicky. It felt really like Drew almost bought a hat. And I'm like, don't buy a hat. This feels like we got led here. So Miami just didn't people were rude. I don't know. I didn't fucking like Miami. I'm not an East Coast girl. I'm not. I'm a West Coast girl. I bet I'd fucking love Washington and Portland. But so Dominican Republic, sorry. Woo, back. So there's a pink street, took a pic on the pink street, and he's like, I'm going to take these people to this car place. Oh, we went to a tequila, that's what it was, too, the fucking a rum tasting. Drew and I don't drink, so everybody was fucking living it up, too. Like, it was cruise people extraordinaire, like, they were like, yeah, like, when we go to a city, we explore it. We like to do a ghost tour, and, this was, you're in a port town, and you're getting to, and they were like, buy booze, buy cigars, like, so the rum, and they were loving it. We were there forever. And then it was just a big shop. And then he was taking them to get cigars so we could walk around. And it was like Sunday, nothing was open. And it sucked. It was just like little touristy shit. Like I never wanted to go to the Dominican Republic, truthfully. They all seemed skeezy on 90 Day Fiance. And I was like, I don't care to go to this scammy place. Same as like, I don't want to go to scammy Africa places. Like I just don't care to. And I have to say, Dominican Republic met my expectations. It was exactly what I thought it was. I have no desire to go back. I can say I've been. We got back on the boat, and I was like, I am glad to be done with that. That was not for me. I was hungry, and the food on the cruise was not amazing. We had blue agave. That was Mexican. That was even, yeah. So we had Dominican Republic Day, and we're like, oh, not great, hungry. Then we're going to Gun Bay. Gun Bay is a Korean barbecue. And it's for if you drink, there's a drinking game that you play where you go, Gangbei, really loud, like all the time. And we were not playing that game, and we were not a drinking table. We were surrounded by the kind of people that were playing that game and loving it, and were quite loud, very loud about it. And the food was awful. Like they had some, I think basically it was like orange chicken that was fine. But then he like gets out a little like octopus, squid thing, octopus, and he just puts it on this fucking grill in front of me, and it looks like it's alive, so it's pulsating, and I was like, I can't, and then he's cutting it up with scissors, and the scissors were weirding me out, and then everyone was telling me about how great it is to cook with scissors, and I was like, can you just stop? I don't like this food. Jane didn't want to eat anything, like, she's like, I'm getting a pizza after this. I'm like, I'm getting a pizza after this too. And then it was just like, it wasn't cleaning the grill in between. There's no seasoning. Like nobody liked it. Everyone's screaming Gangbei around us. So we're going to get desserts. And finally we're like, will you take our picture? We're done. We don't even want the desserts. And we just went and got something else. We're like, we're done. That's awful. And it was like Scarlet Night. And Scarlet Night was supposed to wear red. And Drew didn't bring any red. I didn't like the red I brought. So I wore like a coral dress and he wore a hot pink or something. But it was cool because for that night we went and hung out at the bar. We weren't ready to be done. And they were doing like performances. Well, they were doing the dancers. It was the dancers from the booked thing we saw. And Honey was there. And we're looking at the guys and I'm like, I think that's Wolf Butt. And I thought I tracked down Wolf Butt. And I was really excited. And they like do it and they're leaving. And I like run after him and I'm like, wait. And I stop him. I'm like, my friend writes monster romance. Like you have to meet her. But Honey, get over here. So she takes her picture with him and stuff. And I'm like, oh, you did so good. And I touched him and he's like sweaty. And I was like, we loved your wolf butt. And he goes, oh, that wasn't me. That's so-and-so over there. And I was like, well, your butt would look nice in the wolf cheeks too. Gotta go, bye. And like made it weird. And he was like sweaty. So I'm like, well, Honey, just pretend it was him. Like it could have been him. Good enough. And I got to take a picture with Lola, the main chick. I was like, oh, Lola, I loved you. And Mary. So it was a lot of fun. But I am not saying this to shit on people. Scarlet Night. I love that. Get in, have fun. But I was so grateful I did not wear red. I was like, I'm not one of these people. I'm not a cruise person. I'm not doing this theme cruise shit. Like I wore a really beautiful dress and that's what I just wanted to look nice. Like I was definitely the best dressed person on that cruise by far. And everybody knew it. It's just what I do well. I mean, Suze was very, like, our group was best dressed for sure because Jane had style, but I brought it. I knew what I was doing. Next was another sea day. And after that awful food tour, we were going to try to cancel Bimini and it wouldn't work. It was just a nightmare. But the sea day, we hung out in Richard's Rooftop again and had a good time with everybody. And then that night we went to the Wake, which was a restaurant we had breakfast with Suze and Joe at, and it was really good. But the waiter took a shining to me. I did look beautiful. I had on this lime green beautiful dress. I'll send Sam a picture. I looked beautiful. And Drew and I wouldn't always sit together because it was such a big group. So it was like, I think I was next to Jane or Suze and then Melissa, and Drew was kind of over here. And so like the waiter's helping me and I'm like, thank you. And Drew's like, you're laying it on thick. And Jane's like, no, he likes her. He likes her. So it was Melissa and David. Oh, and that was the thing. We were going to get separate tables and they're like, we can put you at one table, but the ceiling is leaking. So the ceiling's leaking. And David's like, I'll sit under it. But somehow I end up under it. But they had like and Jane and I were so happy there's bread. That was our favorite. So I had like an empty pot and I put it next to me. I was like, it'll catch the water. I don't want it to get on my dress. But yeah, so the waiter liked me. And then it's time to order dessert. And I'm like, oh, we're going to get all of them. And he's like, you two are together? You're together? I'm like, yeah. And then he took our picture and he cut Drew out of it. But you could see him in the mirror. Like, it's really funny. He did take one with Drew in it. But everybody was like, oh, yeah, that was my boyfriend. And we got some pizza and it was good pizza. And then the next day was Bimini and they were all going to go on the beach tour. And then they had like a cultural tour and we were like, I don't want to do that. And their service was horrible. We tried to cancel. You had to cancel within 48 hours. We tried to cancel the Bimini food tour within 46. And they're like, well, we can't do anything. Too bad. And I was like, Virgin, you're supposed to have good service, but I guess because you have a pedo owner, you don't. So Suze was able to switch us to hers. And I was like, you know what? I don't care about the money. I was like, would you rather be like, I didn't waste the money, but I was miserable? Or would you rather just be like, oh, shit, that money's gone. I'll have to make more. And he's like, no, I don't want to. So we were going to go walk around their little town. Well, their town, it was like bullshit. It wasn't even a town. It was one store. And then everyone's like trying to get you to get a golf cart, and it just made me very uncomfortable. I did not like Bimini. I was like, I just want to go back to the boat because I was like, it'll be a great day. They had a sale because on shore days, people aren't on the boat. So I got a massage and a facial for like $150 off. So I'm like, let's get massages. Like, let's enjoy the boat. The boat's been so crowded. We haven't been able to go to the pool, like just fucking so many people. So we got back on the boat and it was amazing. We were by the pool. We had like a float by it. We went and had lunch. And then we got our massages and facials, and it was just great. And they're like, Bimini Beach Club was great. But I'm like, but we've been to it's the beach. Surrounded by people having to pay. I just was not into it. I was very happy that we did what we did. And then we went and bought a hammock because we did enjoy the hammock quite a bit. It fits two, if you know what I mean. It fit two every night. So we bought one for the house. So if people are looking over our fence in Agrotopia, be careful. You might see something. But we just had such a great time. Like, it was just connecting with everybody and just making these friendships and memories and chatting and having so much in common. And it was sad. And we really, and then that night we went to the Italian restaurant, The Wake. Or not The Wake, I don't remember what it's called. The Italian restaurant, Extra Virgin. And the food was phenomenal. That was the best food. I really enjoyed The Wake, but the Extra Virgin was really good. And it was funny because we got all the pastas, and then this other guy, like these tables down, I hear him, he's like, can I try your gnocchi? And he kept talking to this lady about her gnocchi, and I was like taking pictures and loving it. But the food was good, and we took pictures with everybody, and then we went to the bar, and it was funny because there were this table next to us, and they had these gummy bears on like this tier thing in like sex positions. And in my mind, I had thought they bought dirty gummy bears somewhere, and we're just putting them out. And then everybody at our table's talking about it, and they're like, Sarah, ask them about it, because I'm the one that'll ask. And I turn and I was like, oh my God, where did you get those gummy bears? And she's like, over there. And then she starts explaining the sex positions. Or no, I'm like, oh, the gummy bears. And she's like, this is missionary, this is cowgirl. I go, oh no, I was wondering where you got the gummy bears. And she's like, oh, and her table's laughing. And she's like, over there, this and that. I'm like, they sell dirty ones over there? And she's like, no, they're normal. I'm like, what a pair we are. You're telling me the sex positions. I'm fucking like thinking they're dirty already. So like, we're just laughing. And then we got some, they gave us some, and like we made sex position ones, and it was really funny. And then we went up to the room, but it was such a good time, and we missed everybody. And we kind of saw everybody the next morning, and then took off home. And the plane, it was just fucking like, Miami sucked. And the cruise, honestly, the last day, the lady, I forgot about that. See, I should have looked at my fucking notes. Rude lady. We're going to breakfast the day of Bimini, and there's like, it's hard to find tables. There's some outside I wanted to get, and so Drew holds the door, and I walk through, and then this lady walks through, and he goes, this lady, it was so weird. She had coffee, so he held the door for her, and I thought she wouldn't look at me or say anything, and then she like locked eyes with me, and then looked down and kept walking. And I was like, okay, well, you go get your breakfast, I'm gonna go get a seat, and then we'll swap. So I go, and there was this 4-seater I was gonna get right by the window. I was excited, and I start walking, and in front of me there's a lady, and she sits at it with a coffee, and I was like, God damn it. So I got this one that was kind of by the sun, and I didn't like it, and then I saw people leave at one that was like directly behind this lady and like to the right. So I went and like sat at the dirty table. I'm like, sorry, can you clean it for me? And I'm just staring at that lady. I'm like, you fucking took my table. And it's just her. She's like all alone. It's a 4-seater. She just has coffee. Like, it's a huge table. Like, she didn't, and there's one seater. Like, I was just livid. So Drew comes and sits down. I'm like, this fucking lady took my table. And he looks, he goes, that's the lady with the coffee. So then I'm just like, oh, this bitch. And I said, she looks like a bitch. And the table next to me heard me. So I was just mad dogging her. And then, of course, that's the day we stay on the boat. She stayed on the boat. We saw her all the time. And then later we saw her with her husband. So he thought she was annoying too. So we were just like really done with people. Like, cruise people like to drink. They were in the way. Like, it just wasn't our people. And so we are not cruise people. We had a blast with the people we went with, but I would not be in a rush to do another cruise. And we came home, and yeah, and the airport just sucked. Miami sucked. Like, nobody else had to take off their shoes. For some reason, they made me take off my shoe. Like, it was one of those where I was just like, everything. Oh my God. And then there's a guy next to me, like he's already sat down. I was like, oh, God, I hate this. So I sit down and I put my bag down. It made a loud noise. And he's like, heavy bag. And I go, yep. Like I just wasn't in the mood. And then there was like these kids like next to us and like a baby, and they were having the baby dance on the tray table. Then I went to the bathroom and I'm in there and I open the door and there's an old man like nose almost touching my nose, like right there. And I was like, whoa. And then he's like standing there and there's a kid and he's like, were you here for this and that? And then like having conversation. I go, no one can go in until I can leave. Then he still stood there. So I got around him and Drew's like, what the fuck was that? And I was like, I don't know. Like it was like Florida people. Like it was awful. And then like, I have my blanket, like I rub it, like I have anxiety, I have issues. Like we don't talk about it. No, it's like Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Whoopi. So we're sitting there after the plane lands. The guy's like, oh, my daughter had a blanket like that, 32, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, can you not like talk about my secret shame right now, sir? So like this poor guy just was not. And then I got sick after getting home from the cruise. Because of course those cruise people and airport people got me sick. So I like missed Pilates and I was so upset I hadn't missed. And then I was like sad. And then we had Innings Festival, which we bought these VIP tickets because a festival sucks. And those would be like seats and areas and special. And our friend Rosie and Justin were going and they're like, oh yeah, no, you got to go VIP. There's no other way. So we spent too much money on it. But we're like, we're tired. Why do we do this? And so we went and Ubered, which I thought was a smart bet. And then we got in and we went to the wrong stage. And then I'm like, will you find it? And so we found the right stage and we go over and meet up with Rosie and Justin. We're like, hey, and it is nice. The VIP area, they have like free drinks and like spaces to sit. So it was nice because it was just a big festival of people everywhere. And then we went and listened to Vertical Horizon. I'm like, oh yeah, let me go hear the 2 songs I know. And they actually had 3, which I knew, which is cool. And then they did some covers, which I thought was good. But then Silver Sun Pickups is next. And that was the reason all of us were there. So we went over to Silver Sun Pickups. And VIP meant you got like close too. So I was like really close. And I had my bitch hat on because I was like, all right, there's great opportunity where I had my bitch hat on. And I had my sorry, I'm so hot and stoned. I don't know what's wrong with me. I got to comment on that like right away in some jeans. Like I look good. I had my bitch hat on, and so Silver Sun Pickups was amazing. I love them. But then, like, I was kind of like eye to eye with the lead singer, and I was like, had my bitch hat on, and I just imagined him saying something about it, inviting me backstage. But I was like, I know he's looking at it. So they finished, and then who else did we see? 2 stages. Oh, the Fray. So that was when we got there. I was joking about how I wanted to see the Fray, and I was like, I really want to hear You Found Me because I remember when they played that in a video about Jesus at church we went to for a while. And it was like, oh, he found me. And I was like making fun of it. But Justin took that as I actually wanted to see the Fray. So in the middle of Silver Sun Pickups, he's like, the Fray's starting soon. And I was like, I want to see the rest of this. I don't like the Fray. And he's like, you don't? I thought you like. So then Rosie, Drew, and I were laughing because I don't like the Fray. And I was like, no, but that's fucking hilarious that you thought I really liked the Fray. But we did go over and I did hear You Found Me, and it was lovely. And then we went over and heard Dashboard Confessional because Drew was really excited to hear Hands Down. And I didn't know that You Have Stolen My Heart, which was in the finale of the fourth or fifth season of Cold Case, where Lily got shot. And I was like, oh my God, I was so excited about that song. And then Drew wanted to see Lord Huron. Nobody else did. So we went over and saw a little bit of Cage the Elephant after Dashboard and then went over for Lord Huron. And that was just like, holy shit. Because Drew's like back hurt. And on that side of the stage, they had like a bunch of picnic tables. There were like these white chairs. And I was like, the white chairs were all taken, but there's an empty picnic table. And he's like, good, I just need to sit. And we could see really well. Like we were right there. The table behind us has one of those douches. Tim and like another douche. And he's like, Drew goes to the bathroom and the guy's like, I have so much ketamine at my house. And I was just like, oh my God, who fucking even says that? And then he's just the kind of guy that kept like telling, and I was like in this situation, like I was at the strip club and like my girl. And he was the kind of guy that said my girl, which sounds like my possession. And I was just like, oh my God. And he kept it up. And finally later, I'm just looking at him and I locked eyes with him and I rolled my eyes and I looked away. No joke. 2 minutes later, whole fucking table left. which was good because we had taken the table in front of them. And then this fucking lady stood right in like Drew's eye line by a trash can. There's a million other places to stand, and it's just like dancing in front of him. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So I go up and stand like right in her space, hoping she'd get the message. And she didn't. And then I'm like, well, I'm just blocking him now. So I went and sat down and just hated her. And then these people came down and were like sitting, like it was odd. It was like a white old guy and like this young dark-haired lady. Like it was a weird pairing, and they were just chatting loud. And I'm like, is nobody here to hear the band? This is the one band Drew's here to hear. I don't give a shit. I don't know one song, but this is why we're here. So luckily when we went over to that other table that we took from the loud people, these other girls went and sat with those people. And then I put our stuff down on the bench so it looked like our whole table was taken. And then these kids and these parents sat at this table. And then they like almost knocked the guy down. Like it was just some sweet, sweet justice. And then the last band was 21 Pilots. But we were so tired by the end and like walking back and forth between these stages. And so many people. And the food sucked ass. And they had hot dogs, but they were all wrapped in bacon. And I waited like 20 minutes for this hot dog I didn't even want. I got some shitty pizza. Like it was just not worth the money that we spent. 21 Pilots was amazing, but we were so tired by the end that I was like, can we just go? So we were leaving, and there's this drunk ass lady, because there's people trying to buy your wristbands as you're leaving. I'm like, we have a 1-day Saturday VIP and the show's done. So like, no. And this lady ahead of us is like, I sold mine for $80. And Drew goes, our credit card is linked to ours. So if she linked her credit card and did that, she's fucked. And I was like, she's drunk. She probably did. So it was quite the time. I don't think we're festival people. We're just too old. It was Silver Sun Pickup's my favorite band. I even took like a picture and put like, I'm in my VIP area. And Silver Sun Pickups are the number one. And they added me to their story. So I was like, oh my God, you are my favorite band. So they were great, like Silver Sun Pickups. Like I said, 21 Pilots, that's two fucking guys. They were doing everything. Like it was just, I was in awe. And then when we were watching them, it was funny because we were kind of in the back and there was this older lady next to me and like people kept walking in front of us and I was like, let's scoot up, like let's get it. And she's like, I'm in flip-flops. I'm worried about getting like stepped on. And then this other girl's like, am I in your way? Like short girls together. Like I just always like, we have a little community that I get, you know, where I'm like, oh, these are my people. But so much fun with Rosie and Justin. We love them so much. Definitely some of our best friends. Tasha and Jenny are a blast too. Love them. After Innings Festival, also, Mom's house sold. That's right. All done with that. The fun story about that is we had it listed for $675 and we had a guy offer $590. And I was like, that's offensive because this house looked brand new. I mean, it's 2016, barely lived in, and we redid everything. So then, and Angelique's like, yeah, this guy's annoying. He's made me show it to him 6 times. So no, we said no. Then he came at like $540 or $640. We're like, no. And every 2 weeks we kept getting an offer. We're like, it's that guy every time, isn't it? And she's like, yeah. Finally, we got up to $655 and we're like, well, fucking take it. Because I was going to drop it anyway. We hadn't dropped it at all. But we put the contingency like it's as is because it was supposed to be a cash offer, like 7-day close, no nothing. And we sent that over and it was supposed to be signed by 10. It didn't get signed. We're like, you got to be kidding me. We accepted your offer. We just put in that it's as is. So it expires. It goes another day. Nothing. And Angelique's like, it's okay. I have a viewing. So she's had a viewing that morning. That night it was during High School Musical. I get a phone call and she goes, we got an offer, $665. So we were going to take $655 from that guy. We got $665 offered. She said it's a clean offer. There's half down, a young couple, like no problems. I said, we'll take it. So I signed it. I was like, yes, absolutely. So glad. And I was like, good, that guy fucking lost out. Because like I said, he gave us like 4 bids. Like I thought he wanted that house. And so I'm like, good. And I even said to her, I'm like, I hope that so I go, so if that guy comes back, tell him he can suck it. And then later that night, after I'd signed the paperwork, accepted it, we get a message from her that says that guy wants to know how to proceed. And I was like, oh my God, I love that. And I go, you told him, right? She goes, oh yeah, I told him there's no proceeding. You sold the house. So it was so great because we also got like actual retribution that we knew about. Like he knew that he drug his feet. And if he wouldn't have, he would have had that house. But he even told her that he was planning on pulling out if the inspection didn't go well, because he could do that, and he would have. So it worked out well. And even like I told the lady that was signing the paperwork with them, like, tell them we're glad. It was a young couple with some kids. Good. That house deserves a family. Barry the dog is happy. My brother's happy. I'm good. It's done. So we sold the house, got all that. I've never seen that much money in a bank account before. That was crazy. When the proceeds came through, I was like, whoa, all right. So we went and got my new car, because that was Walker wanted the Kia, and the Cube just wasn't going to work for him. So that I was going to get a new car. So I got myself a Land Rover Discovery. I had one in Peoria that I wanted, because I wanted blue with this white interior. I loved it. And Mom's house sold, and I was like, is it still there? And they're like, no, it's sold. So I found one even better. It was in Chandler. Went out on Sunday and test drove it, and it was bigger than, it was just so nice, and it was bigger than anything I ever had. But the thing is, if you get that, it was a 2025, so technically it was used. So I got it for $41,000. It wasn't that's the thing. Like, it's a really nice car. Everyone's like, oh, you have a Land Rover. Like, I have a Land Rover. It's a luxury car, but it was the same price as my Kia, brand new in 2019. A fucking shitty Kia Niro was the same price as the Land Rover Discovery. And it's so nice and easy, like luxury cars, like, but Drew was going to trade in the Cube, and they were like, we'll give you $200 because we're going to have to take it to a scrap yard. So he's like, I can't do it. So he took it to CarMax, and he got $800. So he felt much better about that. But yeah, and it's blue, and it's got white interior, and it's so fancy. And then I was like, oh my God, because I got a message for an app, and I remember Julie, who I used to work with, had a Land Rover, and she could start her car from her phone. And I can do that. The app is still updating, but I was like, holy shit, I have arrived. I can start my car with my phone. So I feel very good about the new Land Rover Discovery. I'm in my Land Rover era, doing daily Pilates, meditating, being a stay-at-home mom, a real housewife of Gilbert, if you will, all of the above. But it's been a great month, and I guess it's been a very Sarah month. I mean, there's always stuff going on in my life. That's why I love to share it with you guys. And fuck famous people. You guys don't get me episodes anyway. The one with me alone got 6,000 listens. Thank you guys. So yeah, still just milfing it about, momming it up, cleaning out the garage. Have some big work news that'll be coming forward soon for everybody. Think we're going to go to Legoland for Beckett's 10th birthday. But, I mean, as always, I will keep you filled in on my life, my friends. Look forward to some new episodes. Sorry it was such a big break in between. I will not do that again. And don't forget, make today your bitch. I'm Sarah Strickland. Thanks for listening.